Today we're going to look at creating calendar events. So there are a couple of ways to do that. One is the Create menu here. From here I can just click Event, or I can go to the calendar and I will see a list of events already happening and the Create Event button here. Now when you create an event, you want to make sure you select the correct calendar. So community calendar is the general calendar you probably select. But if you are, for example, a staff member, you may see other calendars that you'd want to create the event for. By clicking on community calendar, you'll get a list of the calendars available to you. And community calendar is the only one available to this user. So we'll just select community calendar and create event. The first thing we'll need to do is tell the calendar what day and time the event is happening. So under Event Start, we'll want to choose the date. We'll say this is happening in July 28th at 12 p.m. Now, I can choose whether this is a single day event, that is the default, or if it's multiple days, I can uncheck that and I will get an optional end date for the event. We'll just say it's going to be a single day event. Now, if I'd like, I can say this is an all day event, and if I check that, I'll just get the date and not times. But this is not an all day event, so we'll just say 12 p.m. And the event ends at, you could say, there is no end time, so maybe it's a party or it's, there's no hard set end time. Or we could say there is a hard set end time, and that hard set end time is 4 p.m. And this will give us a little summary. And now let's say this is a yearly event. I could check this, that this event repeats. And I could say, well, it doesn't repeat every one day. Now, if I want, I could remove this and just go back to, it doesn't repeat, but it does repeat, and we'll say it repeats every, I could do weekly, daily, monthly, or yearly. We'll say it repeats every year, and it repeats every 1 year, or you could go as high as every 30 years. I'll just say it repeats every 1 year. And then how many times? Does it repeat every year, never, forever? Or maybe it repeats every year for the next 5 years, or repeats every year until this date, a specific date. Then I just hit OK. Now, that's just to show you how that works. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to remove that and say it doesn't repeat. Next, we'll need to give the time zone. So the default time zone is UTC, Universal Time. But we could say that this is a Mountain Standard Time. It's specific to Mountain Standard that this event is happening because it's happening at a specific location. And we'll just change that to Mountain GMT -7. Next, we'll want to give the event a title. So we'll say Test Wilderness Survival Event. Next, we'll want to give it some tags. This just gives it, you can think of tags like categories that this event would fall into, so that it makes it easier for people looking for events to see what events would be relevant to them. So we'll say test and wilderness survival and maybe prepper. And we're going to talk about some permaculture stuff. So maybe there's permaculture in there too. So I've got 4 tags there. Now you'll notice this automatically popped up saying there's a permaculture survival event happening or did happen. Are you sure you want to post this? Because it's saying either this, it's just giving you options saying maybe someone else has already posted this event. It's just so you can see that and say, oh, I don't need to post this. Someone else already posted it. Or there are similar events happening. What days are those happening so that you're not colliding events where people would have to choose between one event or the other. Now with the tags, we could give one of these tags as a prefix. That means that tag will show up before the title of my event. So it would show up here when it's listed before it. So I could say primarily this is a wilderness survival event. So I'm going to give it the wilderness survival prefix. Next, I can choose whether I want to receive notifications, email or internal alerts. That would show up here under notifications, depending on your notification settings, of whenever someone comments on the event. I'm going to leave that checked because I want to know if people have any comments or questions. Next, we'll need to give the event a description. So, testing. And as you can see, there are many options. We can center the text, make it bold, maybe make it italic, underline it. And I'd like to add some images. So I'm just going to go over here and choose a file. Let's say it's going to be Wilderness Survival for Kids. And maybe I've got another one I want to put in here. The Arctic Survival, because we're going to do some Arctic Survival. This is the cover photo. So I'm choosing which cover photo I want. I'm going to go with Zombie Event for my cover photo. And I'd like to add some photos into my description as well, so I can just drag them here, or I can choose files. I'm going to choose these two. And then optionally, I could insert other media. So if I already have an existing attachment that I've posted somewhere else, I could go there. Or if I want to bring in an image from a separate URL, I could insert an image from a URL and just give my URL there. But I've got these two. Now, if I just leave it the way it is, these two images will just show up at the bottom. But I might want to add my image above this text. So I'm just going to put my cursor here above it and click on the plus because I want this one to show up above it. And I want this one to show up right here. So I'm going to add that one there. Or maybe I want them side by side. I can just drag and drop these around. And maybe I want that to be smaller. Let's say 500. Or let's say 450. I think that'll be better. Yeah. So that almost matches the right size. And to do that, I just double clicked on the image. And I can give the image a title. That's always smart to do for Google to be able to see the images and find your event easier. It's always good to give your images a title. Also for searching within the site, it makes it easier for users. And I can give it an alignment. I could say I want that to align left, meaning text will wrap around it to the right of the image. Or if I choose right, the text will wrap around to the left of the image. Just update that. Okay. And maybe I want to put in, maybe this is a paid event, so I need to put in a link to where they purchase tickets to the event. I hope that eventually we will have a paid system built in, but currently you'll have to use an outside pay system to do that. Or you could link to one of the barter blanket items and create a barter blanket event ticket and link to that. So now I've got my cover photo chosen. Cover photos will show up at the top of the event, and we'll see that after we submit the event, and we'll be able to edit the positioning of the cover photo. Now location, I can leave this blank if there's no specific location, like if it's an online event, webinar or something, but this is a specific event. And now I can get as detailed as I'd like. Maybe I don't want to give out the specific address until the exact street address until someone is registered for the event. So I could leave that blank. But I do want them to know that the event will happen in Missoula, Montana. Don't want that. Autofill. Missoula, Montana. I'll just leave that blank. I think they're 59902, but I can't remember. Album, I won't have to worry about this, but if I had a gallery event, If I had my own gallery, album gallery, I could select that, but this user does not, so there's nothing to choose. Now, I could also request that people RSVP, so I know how many people are coming. So I'm going to RSVP, and I'm going to say unlimited amount of people can come, or there's only, we'll say, 12 slots open for this event. So up to 12 people can RSVP to this event. And that's it. Let's go ahead and submit the event. Okay, so this will immediately take us to the event page, and there's some things you'll see that others won't see here. First of all, we have, this doesn't look quite right for my cover photo, so if I go to photo here on the right, now I can remove it, reposition it, or upload a new one. I'm going to reposition this one, and that lets me drag this to wherever I think would be best. Looks like maybe this will be the best place for it. So I'll save there. And we have the event title here and the dates that it's happening. And you'll notice because we chose Mountain Time, my time shows at noon, my time shows at 11. And it's located in the community calendar. Now from here I can edit tags, or I could add some new ones if I wanted. I could remove these or add new ones. I can see the event address here that I chose in the calendar. I could click that and that'll take me to Google Maps. And then the event address listed here and what I chose. If there was a very specific street address, it would show this specific street address here. Here are my images. If I click on those, it will take me to a bigger version of the image. And if I wanted, I could, when we were editing, I could have deleted the link address, and then it would show as a pop-up. It would zoom into the photo as a pop-up instead of going to a different web page. Here we can see how many people have RSVP'd so far. No users have. I can say I'm going. So that'll take one out of those away. And it shows that you are going to the event. And I can show the amount of people who declined to go to the event as well. And because this is your event, I could download the guest list. I can also set the reminder for the event. So I can say, I want to be notified 3 days before this event happens. Or maybe because I'm the event coordinator, I need to know a month in advance to remind me a month in advance that I set this up. And of course I can go in and update that reminder. Now I can also choose my notification preferences here. So I am automatically following this because I'm the creator of it. Another person could follow this and they could say, I want to be notified whenever content is posted. And then I can say, change how this notification is sent, which will take me to the settings for that. My notification settings in my account. Or I can say, I just want to receive 1 email per day with anything new that's happened in content for this day. Or I can say for that day. Or I can say, I want to only receive an email once a week. For this would be like if someone comments or changes have been made, or I don't want to receive any notifications. And I can choose whether I want others to know that I'm following that event or not. So maybe it's a provocative event that you don't want other people knowing you're going to, or something like that. You could uncheck that, and then people won't see that you're going to that event, or that you're following that event. Okay. I'll just select update preferences there. Now, because you are the event creator, you will also see manage event here, and I can edit the details, which is editing everything about the event. Any user can report the event, so if this is something that they believe should not be on the calendar, they could report it. And why do you want to report it? This is okay, but I want to tell the moderator about it. It's inappropriate, or this is spam. and then give us a little message explaining why, maybe some screenshots. I can download the event to my calendar. So if I click that, it'll download an ICS file. And then also I could choose to add a similar event. If you wanted to create something similar to this, if I click that, it'll take me here and it'll provide me with all the information from that event so I can edit it, but change the date and times that it's happening. I don't know why I do that. So there you go. That's what it's going to look like from your side. Now let's take a look at what it looks like from a different user's perspective. Okay, so now I'm logged in as a different user, and I'm just did a search on events that have to do with survival, and I see here's the one that we created, and you'll see the prefix tag that we chose is showing up before the title. So we'll just go to that event, and now I can see the different tags, but I won't see the prefix tag. That's just going to show up there. It won't be listed under here. And I'll see, okay, there's one user that's RSVP'd. As you can see, I don't have the option to edit the event. I can't edit the photo, things like that. But I can say if I'm going or not going. So if I'm going, I can do that. And then if I want, I could have chosen decline there instead. I could say leave event to say, oh, actually I can't make that. I've changed my mind. And of course I can set reminders to remind myself about the event, and I can follow it in the different ways we discussed earlier. I can download the event to my calendar, and I can report the event. And then download guest list, I could also do that and see all the people who have said they're going and the time. All right, I hope this helps you get a better understanding of events and how to create them.